Okay, students, this is Mr. Parrish, city versus county government. I think this will help you to understand more clearly the Gideon versus Wainwright video that you are required to watch as well. By the way, this is a lecture that I heard a professor at UNC Chapel Hill give one time, and I can't remember his name, but it's not my lecture, it's somebody else's lecture. Let's start down here. Let's say that there's a city here called Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Everybody knows where that is. Okay, this is Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Now, we know that if you were to go about 1 mile west of Chapel Hill, you're going to be in a town called Carborough, North Carolina. Okay? And if you were to go like 20 miles east of Chapel Hill, down 15501 right here, you're going to be in a town called Durham, North Carolina, right here. Okay? Now, let's go back to Chapel Hill. If you were in Chapel Hill and you went 20 miles, approximately 20 miles north, you're going to end up in a town called Hillsborough, North Carolina, which is where I happen to live. Hillsborough. Very old town that's been here since the beginning of our state. Okay? Now, we also know that the city limits of each of these municipalities extends out about a mile or maybe 2 miles from the center of the city. Same thing up here in Hillsborough. The city limits extends out about a mile or maybe 2 miles out. Okay? Keep that in mind when I ask you this question here. Let's say I'm in Chapel Hill and I decide to travel, instead of 20 miles up north, which is going to take me to Hillsborough, I travel 10 miles and I end up right here. Again, I'm in Chapel Hill, I travel 10 miles north and I end up right here. Where am I going to be? Think about it for a minute. I'm not going to be in Hillsborough because the city limit only extends out about 2 miles. I'm not going to be in Chapel Hill. I'm not going to be in Carborough. I'm not going to be in Durham. Where am I going to be? The answer to that question is I'm going to be in Orange County. Okay, let me draw the boundaries of Orange County right here. Now, no matter where you go in North Carolina, you're always going to be in a county. But it's possible that you could go many places in North Carolina and not be in a municipality. You're not going to be in a city or a town. But no matter where you go in North Carolina, you're always going to be in a county. There's another county over here. It's called Durham County. Now, Durham is kind of interesting because it only has one municipality, which happens to also be called Durham. The city of Durham is located in the county of Durham. There's talk of a second municipality popping up over here in the northern section of the county at some point. It's currently an unincorporated neighborhood. It's called Rougemont, and it's possible that they may be asking for a charter soon, and they may become the second city within the county of Durham. Right now, there's only one city in the county of Durham, which is Durham City, the city of Durham. Okay. Now, the county, again, is the arm of the state. The county is how the state controls its territory. The counties have been around since the start of our state, and they're always going to be here. The cities may or may not always be here. The cities do not have to exist. The cities exist only because the state of North Carolina has given them permission to exist. For example, down here, Chapel Hill, at one point, they built a university here called UNC Chapel Hill. Consequently, a lot of people started congregating in this area. They started moving to this area. And at one point, there were so many people living here that they wanted to build a city so that they could hire a police department, hire a fire department, they could create a town council and a mayor, and they could start making local ordinances to keep everybody safe. So they asked the state of North Carolina for a charter, and the state gave them a charter, which is basically a document that gives them permission to be a city or a town. It also gives them permission to build a police force and a fire department. Same thing over here. Now, many years ago, they built a mill right here. It was a textile mill called Carr Mill. And people started moving into this area. So at one point, there was so many people living here that they wanted to build a city. And they asked the state for permission to build a city. The state granted them a charter, and they named their town or city Carborough. Now, Hillsborough has been here since the beginning of time, since the beginning of North Carolina. It's a very, very old town. But once again, they also have a charter by the state. The state of North Carolina has given them permission to exist. The county is the arm of the state. This is how the state controls its territory. So let's say that I live in Chapel Hill right here, and I were to get arrested by the police in Chapel Hill for something or another. Now, the police do have the authority to arrest me, but they do not have the authority to put me in jail. Same thing here in Carborough. The police do have the authority to arrest you, but they cannot put you in jail. Same thing in Durham. The Durham police have the authority to arrest you, but they cannot put you in jail. Only the sheriff of the county can do that. And he does that in the name of the state of North Carolina. So if I get arrested in Chapel Hill, the very first thing the police are going to do is bring me to county. They're going to bring me to the county seat. They're going to put me on I-40. They're going to drive all the way up here to Hillsborough. And they're going to give me over to the sheriff of the county. And the sheriff is going to put me in the county jail in the name of the state because I have offended the state of North Carolina. I have become an offender. So only the state can put me in jail. Let's say finally when my case goes to trial, it's not going to be called Chapel Hill versus Mr. Parrish. It's going to be called the state of North Carolina versus Mr. Parrish, because only the state of North Carolina has the authority to bring me to trial. The cities do not have that authority. Okay, keep that in mind. Same thing here in Durham. If you get arrested by the police in Durham, they do not have the authority to put you in jail. They're going to bring you to the sheriff. Now, since there's only one municipality in Durham, there's also going to be Durham City is also going to be the county seat, so there's going to be a county jail here. The city police, they're going to turn you over to the county. They're going to turn you over to the sheriff, who does have the authority to put you in jail. And then eventually, when your case goes to trial, it'll be the state of North Carolina versus whoever you are. It's not going to be the city of Durham versus whoever you are. It's going to be the state of North Carolina. And of course, the sheriff does have a group of deputies that are in charge of patrolling the rural areas of Orange County, and same thing here in Durham. The sheriff of Durham has a group of deputies who are in charge of law enforcement and in charge of keeping people safe in the rural areas out here, outside of the city limits. Okay, the sheriff is always going to be in charge. I want to say one more thing. Now, in Chapel Hill, there's a town council. They make local ordinances. In Carborough, there's a town council and a mayor. Same thing in Chapel Hill, they got a mayor too. Same thing in Durham, they have a town council and a mayor who make ordinances regarding the town, their local laws, local ordinances. Same thing up here in Hillsborough, they have a mayor and they have a town council who makes laws and ordinances regarding the city of Hillsborough. However, ultimately, the ultimate authority within Orange County is the County Board of Commissioners. They're always going to be located in the county seat. In this case, it's Hillsborough. They are ultimately in charge of everything that happens in the county, including the cities. They're in charge of the cities as well. They have control over the cities as well. They're called the County Board of Commissioners. It's kind of interesting to look at their website because you can see what the county does. The county, they take care of landfills, senior citizens, parks and recreation, water, sewer. The county can also tax property taxes. Okay. Same thing here in Durham. I just wanted you to know the difference between city and county. This is going to be important as we start talking about legal issues and as we look at Gideon versus Wainwright. Now, down below, I'm going to link a map of the United States and all of the counties in the United States. You'll see on that map that no matter where you go in America, you're always going to be in a county, because the county is more important than the city. The county is the arm of the state. The county is the way in which the state governs its territory.
I want to point out that the Board of Commissioners, the County Board of Commissioners here in Orange County are elected officials. Same thing in Durham County. They are very powerful. They are in charge of everything that happens in that county, as I mentioned. They are even in charge of the cities. They can actually dissolve the city charter if they want to. They're in charge of school districts. They can merge school districts if they want to. The County Board of Commissioners here in Durham at one point merged Durham County and Durham City Schools, and today they're called it's called Durham Public Schools. There used to be 2 school districts in Durham, but at one point the county commissioners decided to merge the 2 in order to save money. And today we call it Durham Public Schools. So the County Board of Commissioners has the authority to do that if they want to. Again, go to the county website to see some of the things that they do. The county is in charge of social services, Department of Aging, Department of Recreation, child protective custody. If there's a child that's being abused within the county officials can come and take that child. They do so in the name of the state of North Carolina because they represent the state of North Carolina. The county's also in charge of building permits. If you're going to build a new house or even a shed out behind your house, you will have to get a permit from the county. They're also in charge of inspections. They will send somebody out to inspect that property to make sure that it is safe for people living in that property. They're in charge of zoning ordinances as well. They can determine what type of building can be built within a certain portion of the county. You also have property deeds are listed in the county seat. Let's say that you live here in Orange County and you buy a house or you buy some land. That deed of sale will be put on file by the Register of Deeds here in the county seat, which is going to be Hillsborough. If you sell property, that Register of Deeds is going to get involved with that to register the property deed. Also, the Register of Deeds is in charge of birth certificates and death certificates and marriage certificates. No matter where you go in America, you're always going to be in a county, which means that when you die, you're going to be in a county. When you are born, you're going to be in a county. When you get married, you're going to be getting married in a county. So therefore, the Register of Deeds of that county will record your death certificate, your birth certificate, and your marriage certificate at the county seat. Here in Orange County, that would be the Register of Deeds in Hillsborough. And by the way, the Register of Deeds is a elected county official. Okay, let's see. The County Board of Commissioners is usually 7 to 14, and again, they are elected officials as well in county elections. Okay, that's just something I wanted to add. Remember also that the sheriff of the county has higher authority than police chief. The police would be, of course, local. They'll be in charge of just the city limits, which usually extends out about 1.5 miles from the city center. So the sheriff is higher authority. The sheriff represents the state of North Carolina. As a matter of fact, the sheriff can actually dissolve a city police department if necessary, if they find that there's corruption within that department at the city level. The sheriff can do that. They have the authority given to them by the state of North Carolina to come in there and take over the policing of a city. That happened in Smithfield about 5 or 6 years ago. The sheriff took over the policing of that city and fired everybody, including the police chief of the city. And this is a map of all of the counties in America. Notice that no matter where you go in America, you are always going to be in a county because that's the county is how the state government controls its territory. By the way, this map came from Wikipedia Commons.